Welcome back to my Paint and Stories corner. Today, I have something truly special to share, a heartwarming tale of how Amy found her lifelong companion, paired with the enchanting bloom paint technique on canvas. So, settle in, relax with your favorite beverage, and join me on this creative journey. Let the colors bloom, the story unfold, and enjoy every magical moment. Leo will tell the story while I create the magic of the flower blooms on the canvas. Let's get going.
It was early on a Sunday morning when Amy parked her car at the side of the road, right next to the trailhead. She had hiked this trail countless times before. It was a short drive from her apartment, but it always felt like a world away. The forest, thick with towering evergreen trees, stretched in front of her, the smell of pine and damp earth filling the air. It amazed her how such a lush, thriving forest could exist so close to a busy freeway. The faint hum of traffic was barely audible, blending into the background like white noise. "That's the Pacific Northwest for you," she thought, a smile tugging at her lips. The blend of wilderness and urban life was something she cherished. Hiking was her escape, her way to meditate. As a civil engineer, Amy's work life was full of meetings with developers, city planners, and permitters. Though she loved the design part of her job, the endless bureaucracy often left her drained. Today, however, was different. It was her time, her chance to reset. She could feel her phone vibrating in her pocket, buzzing with texts and social media notifications. But she ignored it all. The world could wait. The trail was familiar, thick with ferns, the ground damp from recent rain. The air was crisp, and the scent of moss and wood filled her lungs as she walked. Overhead, the sky peeked through the trees in patches of pale blue, and somewhere in the distance, she could hear the soft chatter of a stream. As Amy trekked deeper into the forest, she noticed a narrow path branching off to her left. She paused. Odd. She had never seen that trail before. Curiosity sparked within her. Perhaps it was new. Without much thought, she turned and followed it. The path opened into a beautiful meadow, the kind that seemed untouched by time. The tall grasses swayed gently in the breeze, dotted with wildflowers, bright yellows, purples, and whites. Butterflies fluttered lazily above the blooms, while dragonflies skimmed across the surface of a small, tranquil pond. The water was so still it mirrored the sky perfectly. But what truly caught Amy's eye was the woman standing by the pond's edge. She was strange, out of place. Unlike Amy in her hiking boots and athletic wear, the woman wore a flowing white dress that shimmered faintly with a blue sheen. Her bare feet pressed into the soft earth, and her blonde hair cascaded down her back in a mass of loose curls. Her eyes, clear and blue as the pond behind her, were startling. "Hello," Amy called out, approaching cautiously. The woman smiled. "Hi, Amy." Amy stopped short, her heart skipping. "How do you know my name?" The woman's smile deepened. "We have much to talk about. Shall we take a walk?" Amy hesitated, her head tilting to the side. This was bizarre, but her curiosity outweighed her wariness. "All right," she murmured, and followed the woman. As they moved away from the meadow and back into the forest, a mist began to gather, swirling around them. It thickened until Amy could barely see her own hand in front of her face. Then, just as quickly as it had come, the mist cleared, revealing a forest unlike any she had ever seen. The trees here were different, tall and ancient, but their leaves glowed with an iridescent hue, as if someone had switched on a blacklight. The air shimmered, and the sky above them was no longer blue but a soft, pale pink. Everything felt dreamlike. "Wait," Amy said, reaching out to touch the woman's arm. "What is this place? Am I dead?"
If you're enjoying this content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Now back to the story and painting.
The woman chuckled softly. "No, of course not. Come, we'll talk up ahead." In the distance, Amy saw an open pavilion nestled among the trees. It was crafted from dark wood and stone with a large river rock fireplace at its center. Flames flickered warmly, casting a golden glow. In front of the fireplace stood a table set with breakfast foods, croissants, fresh fruit, and steaming cups of coffee. The table itself was simple but elegant, made of smooth oak with two comfortable-looking chairs pulled up to it. Amy's stomach growled as she sat down. The scent of freshly brewed coffee was intoxicating, and she wasted no time in pouring herself a cup. The warmth of the mug felt grounding in her hands. She tore off a piece of the buttery croissant and popped it into her mouth, savoring the taste. "All right," Amy said, setting her cup down. "What is this place? And who are you?" The woman smiled gently. "This planet is called Anidos, and my name is Ain." Amy blinked, trying to process. "How is that possible?" "I'm sure you've heard of the many worlds theory," Ain said, her voice calm and soothing. "Well, this is one of those worlds. There are people who can move between worlds. I'm one of them," Ain replied simply. Amy, still skeptical, searched Ain's eyes for deception, but found none. Somehow, deep down, she knew it was true. "Let's finish our breakfast," Ain said. "Then I'll take you to the hot springs, and we'll talk more." They ate quietly, the crackle of the fire the only sound. Amy felt peaceful, almost as if she had been here before, though she knew she hadn't. After they finished, Ain led Amy down another path, this one winding toward a bubbling hot spring. Large, smooth rocks surrounded the pool, and a stream fed into it, the water crystal clear. The plants around the spring were luminous, their leaves glowing softly in the pinkish light. Amy dipped her toes into the water, feeling the warmth spread up her legs. The bottom of the spring was sandy, with small bubbles rising gently to the surface. "All right, Ain," Amy said, sinking deeper into the water. "I'm ready to learn more." Ain smiled. "You remember the double-slit experiment, yes?" Amy nodded, though she wasn't sure where this was going. "Well," Ain continued, "think of it this way. When particles are unobserved, they behave like waves, full of potential. But when observed, they behave as your mind expects them to." Amy furrowed her brow. "So, this place is something my mind is creating? At a quantum level?" "In a way, yes. What you're seeing, feeling, it's what your mind can comfortably comprehend." Amy was quiet for a moment. "Why me? Why am I here?" "Let's get dried off first," Ain said, rising from the water. Nearby, two comfortable chairs waited, towels draped over their backs. The chairs were deep and cushioned, made from polished wood, with soft, cream-colored fabric. The towels were thick and warm, wrapping Amy in comfort as she dried off and dressed. Once seated, Ain leaned forward. "Tell me about your life, Amy." Amy explained her career as a civil engineer, how she loved the idea of designing and creating but often felt stifled by the endless meetings and paperwork. "It's a great job," she admitted, "but I feel overwhelmed and burned out sometimes." "If you could create anything," Ain asked, "what would it be?" Amy thought for a moment. "I'd work with clay. I've always wanted to make sculptures, large ones, of people and animals." Suddenly, there was a rustling in the bushes. Amy's heart raced for a moment, but what emerged wasn't some wild creature. It was a dog. A large, pure white dog. He bounded toward her, stopping and sitting at her feet and placing a paw on her knee. "What's a dog doing here?" Amy asked, half laughing, half startled. "This," Ain said with a smile, "is Porthos." The dog looked up at her with one brown eye and one blue, his tongue lolling out in a goofy grin. "He is a cute dog." Amy thought. "Thank you," Porthos said, his voice deep and calm. Amy gasped. "Oh no, a talking dog? This can't be real." Porthos chuckled. "I'm not just a dog. I'm going to be your lifelong companion." "Well, I don't know anything about taking care of a dog and don't know if I want one," said Amy. "That's okay. Don't worry, Amy. I'll grow on you and I know all about taking care of a dog. I'll teach you. It'll be fun," Porthos replied. "But why me?" said Amy. "Well," Porthos said with a shrug, "Ain was telling me about you. I thought, well, I haven't had an adventure on the planet you call Earth for some time, and Ain said we would make a good team." Amy looked between Porthos and Ain and shook her head. "I think I've been set up." They all laughed. Ain rose from her chair. "It's time for you to go back. Amy stood as well, and Ain handed her a red leather collar and leash. "May I?" Amy asked, holding the collar up to Porthos. "Of course," Porthos replied. "And for the record, red is my favorite color. If I'm going to endure the indignity of being leashed, at least I'll look good." Amy laughed and clicked the collar into place. At least he has a sense of humor, Amy thought. "Yes, I do, and many more talents as well," said Porthos. Amy forgot Porthos could read her mind. Porthos reassured Amy that he could only read her thoughts if she was thinking of him or conversing with him. Amy was thankful for that. They made their way back through the mist and into the meadow, where Amy hugged Ain goodbye. "Thank you," Amy said softly. "It was my pleasure," Ain replied with a warm smile. Amy clicked the leash on Porthos. As Amy and Porthos walked back down the trail, they passed a few hikers with their dogs. Porthos played his part well, wagging his tail and trotting along like any ordinary dog. Amy smiled to herself, feeling calm and confident. When they reached her car, Porthos jumped into the back seat, and Amy slid into the driver's seat, starting the engine. As she pulled onto the road, she glanced in the rearview mirror and saw Porthos grinning at her. "Oh, by the way," Porthos said, "I don't do dog parks." "Noted," Amy replied with a smile as they drove toward home. Amy rolled down the back window and Porthos hung his head out of the open window.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Your support means the world to me, and it helps the channel grow. Stay tuned for more great content, and I'll see you in the next one.